Hi, physiology students. Welcome to this welcome video where I'm going to walk us through our course, the syllabus, and our Canvas homepage. My name is Elizabeth Bamer. I'll be your instructor. Hopefully you got to this welcome video message either by the announcement I sent out, the Canvas message, or by clicking on my picture here. A little bit about me. I've been teaching at LBCC for the past 5 years part-time. I have 3 young children, and I'm currently due with number 4 right around the time our class will end. So I'll keep you posted on how that will look. My due date is June 2nd. My family relocated to Quito, Ecuador about a year ago. So I'm actually coming to you from South America right now. And I'm really thankful that I've still been able to teach at Long Beach, as well as several other colleges across the states. So I'm teaching at other places as well. So here's our homepage. So when you first get into Canvas, your homepage will take you to kind of the main, most important information. My welcome video by clicking my picture. The dates of our class starts on February 7th, which is a Monday, and our class will end on a Wednesday, June 8th. Normally, all of our weeks start on a Monday and all of your assignments are due on a Sunday. So we'll just have to remember that the last day of class, all of your assignments will be due on June 8th, which is a Wednesday. Here's a link to the syllabus, which we are going to go over really soon. Our class style, so I know we have meetings time set up in the LBCC class schedule, but our class will be mostly asynchronous, completely online. If we do need to have a meeting, we'll meet during one of those Tuesday or Thursday evenings, but they'll always be non-mandatory. I have all your video lectures recorded and posted on our class YouTube channel, which I give you the link for in the important modules section. You can reach me by email or Canvas messages. I try to respond within 24 hours. And then here's my Zoom office hour link. I will hold these weekly pretty regularly. This first week, I should be there holding every regularly. So just come to those office hours. I know a lot of you are working during the day, so if you need to set up a different time to meet with me, just email me and we'll set up another time to meet. So again, this is your homepage. Also, you'll want to check out the announcement section regularly because that's where I'll post important changes or other information. And then the module section I'll get to, but if you click on the important icon, you can see even in this homepage that I divide our class into 4 modules, and the important icon will give you all the kind of important links and information. So we'll go through the important information in the important module section, and then we'll go through the syllabus. But as you're working through the course this semester, you can get through each module clicking these icons, or you can just go to the module section on the left-hand side. You'll see discussions, my lab and mastering, which is important. We'll get to grades, quizzes, assignments. So let's just show the important information module real quickly, and then we'll jump into your syllabus. So here's all the important information with our syllabus right at the top. There you will have a syllabus and welcome video quiz worth 5 points due in 1 week on February 13th, which is a Sunday, because again, I start all of our weeks on Mondays and they all end on Sundays at midnight. So you have the weekend to do your assignments. And then we'll have weekly discussion posts. And here's your discussion for week 1. It's a Who Am I discussion post. Please use this. I use this to monitor if you've logged into Canvas. And so please participate and respond. Post your name, why you're taking this course, your career goals, what program are you hoping to transfer into, and what's one thing that makes you nervous about this course. Like every weekly discussion course, you'll have an initial post due by Wednesday at midnight, and you'll have 2 reply posts to 2 different classmates due by Sunday at midnight each week. So this is the discussion post for the first week. So let's go back through the important module information. So you have several assignments already to do in this first week. This is how to register for my lab and mastering. This will get us into one of our lab simulation softwares. So you'll need to get the textbook and you'll need to get the access code for my lab and mastering. And you can register probably the easiest by just clicking on my lab and mastering on the left-hand side of the course navigation. And from there, it'll take you through how to register for the textbook and that lab simulation software, which I will go through and post videos on right before we have labs using that. But you will need the textbook with the access code, and that gets you to the My Lab and Mastering. And again, I'll show you that textbook when we go through our syllabus. Here is a how to use Proctorio link. So we use Proctorio to take all of our quizzes, labs, lecture exams. It's a video, it's basically a robot that's recording your face, the audio, the screen. And I use this. So here is how to download it. You'll need Google Chrome, and then you'll download the extension to your browser. If you're not comfortable, using Proctorio, you're free to take physiology with another instructor, but I will be using it in my course because this is a completely online course. So that is how to use Proctorio, and I have a Proctorio practice quiz just to make sure we all have it downloaded and ready to go. It's an easy quiz worth 2 points, but it'll show you kind of how it looks when Proctorio is downloaded correctly. Proctorio, when you download it, and it's an extension to your browser, as you're opening up future quizzes and exams, Proctorio should never ask you for an access code. If it does, it means it wasn't downloaded correctly, or you might have to check out their tech support page. If you ever get an error like that, never email me asking me for an access code or asking me why it's not working. It's most likely a problem on your end with how Proctorio is downloaded. Sometimes Proctorio updates and you have to re-download it throughout the semester as well. Here's my office hours Zoom link, and here's our YouTube channel link to all recorded lectures. If you get this error message, just click up there to click on this gray part, the YouTube channel link of recorded lectures. And it takes us right to a channel that's only for Physio R class. And I don't have anything posted in there yet, but there will be lecture videos posted in there. So this is, again, just the introductory kind of all important information module that you can use throughout the semester. Here is physiology workshop information and schedule. So I'll talk about what these physiology workshops are. It's basically supplemental learning, like a tutoring session where you'll attend a live session and you'll complete a handout. And as the workshops start to get started, I'll kind of talk you through this, but here's the schedule of those live sessions. And then here are the different workshops that you can choose from. I have you do 3 for a total of 30 points, 10 points each, and you have to complete 3 by the end of the semester. These workshops kind of take one difficult topic out of physiology and give you kind of extra practice on one particular topic, whether that's the cardiac cycle, cellular metabolism, action potential, hormones. You'll always have to kind of download and fill out a handout, and that's what you'll email to the MDSC, and then they keep track of the workshops you've completed. And the kind of attending the live session, which is again a Zoom session, is really helpful because the instructor there will most likely help you fill out the handout. And it's just kind of an extra way that I force you to go to 3 tutoring sessions on one of these topics throughout the semester to get a little bit extra help on one of those topics. So that's the workshop information. And then I include that workshop information at the top of each module going forward. And then you'll see I just have module 1 published, but I divide our class or our course into 4 modules, and each module takes about a month to get through. There's a lot of information in each module and it requires a lot of weekly work. And again, I'll probably stop here soon and go through the syllabus, but you can kind of work your way and see what's due on a weekly basis, monthly basis, all throughout module 1. I include all the chapter PowerPoints, review questions. There will always be a lecture quiz. In this first module, I included a lab quiz as well, just to make sure we got the information right on the first 3 labs. And I'll talk about those labs as well and what those will entail. And then I'll include those kind of short recorded lectures of each chapter in our YouTube channel link shown there. Also, I just want to focus on towards the end of each module, you'll see these weekly case study discussions. And then at the end, you'll have your lecture exam, which will be open for about 5 days before it's due. So you'll have, a good chunk of time, to take that at some point during those 5 days. But like I mentioned a little bit, you'll have a weekly discussion post to do. And this is probably will take up, this is kind of forcing you to be involved in the course every week. And these weekly discussions, will require some outside research. They might not always match up with what we are going over in lecture, but you'll always be able to find answers, Google, scientific articles. So for example, the week 2 case study discussion, this will be due February 20th, because remember your first discussion due on this coming Sunday, February 13th, is just the Who Am I introductory discussion. So normally each week there will be a different case study, so a problem with a person or having you answer some questions about a disease or a disorder in the body. And I found that this is really helpful because most of you are going into healthcare related fields. So I'm trying to choose topics that you will most likely encounter in your career one day. So this is your week 2 case study discussion. So you'll always have to required each week to post a discussion and 2 follow-up posts to your classmates. The big thing is you'll receive 10 points for your initial post, and the initial post will always be due by Wednesday at midnight. So again, I'm kind of forcing you to work on your course and material throughout the week. The Wednesday at midnight post must be at least 150 words. That does not include the words of your citation. You must cite at least one source, and that'll always be due Wednesday at midnight. And then you'll reply to 2 different classmates, each worth another 10 points. More than just agree or good job, try to continue the discussion or ask them a question. And those are due by Sunday at midnight of each week. And you can always find the rubric for each discussion kind of by clicking on these 3 dots and then showing your rubric. And this is how I grade you. And these discussions are an easy way to get points. So your initial post has to be at least 150 words. And it has to be due again by that Wednesday. And the reply posts are reply posts, and they each need to be due by Sunday. So always take a look at that rubric because that's exactly what I'll grade you on: word length, the citation, making sure your initial post is due by Wednesday, and your reply posts are both due by Sundays. So those are your discussions. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and kind of jump into your syllabus. And again, you can get to the syllabus in a variety of different ways, but I have the Word document that you can download off of Canvas. Again, the class format will be asynchronous Zoom recorded lectures, some meeting times, which I might use if people need help or going over a lab or office hours on Tuesday, Thursday nights. But for the most part, we will not meet at all unless you hear from me. My office hours are Thursdays at 8 a.m. Unless you need another time to meet with me, send me a message. Here are the dates of the class. June 8th is a Wednesday. After June 8th, which is a Wednesday, Canvas will not allow me to extend any due dates for any assignments or exams. So if June 8th passed and you've forgotten to take your final exam, Canvas shuts the final exam down, so it won't let you take it anymore. So I personally will not accept any late work, and I do never offer any extra credit. So I never offer any makeups for any missed assignments unless it's an emergency, but especially at the end of the course, I physically cannot allow any late work to come in because Canvas kind of doesn't allow you to submit anything else. Here you can read through the course description. I do expect you to have a good understanding of anatomy by getting to this course. I will review a little anatomy, but not much. So if there's a topic that you're struggling with, you might have to review a little bit of anatomy. Because physiology will be looking at the function of the organ systems now. You can read through the student learning outcomes, which I will address in our labs and PowerPoints and lecture quizzes and exams. Here's our course structure, not really an attendance policy, but I divide the course into those 4 modules, each with chapters in a textbook. We'll have recorded Zoom lectures. The class is very asynchronous. In each module, you'll find all the lecture PowerPoints, some lecture review questions that you can use to kind of test yourself. Usually 1 lecture quiz, weekly case study discussion posts, and an exam. You'll also find lab instructions, videos, lab report assignments. Sometimes there'll be a lab quiz or a lab exam. We'll be using My Lab and mastering through the Pearson textbook throughout the semester for lab activities, which is PhysioX. We'll also be using a lab simulation software called Labster, which I provide that to you through Canvas. But you will need to get the My Lab and Mastering with the access code, and the textbook information is shown here. So you'll need the access code. You can register through My Lab and Mastering in Canvas, because that My Lab and Mastering has some great study guide. You can use review questions in it to help you study the textbook material itself, but the big thing too is we'll be using it for some of your lab activities. We'll also be using the Proctorio secure exam proctoring system to take all quizzes and exams. You'll need a computer with a webcam to download the Proctorio extension, and Google Chrome works best. Instructions are in Canvas, like I showed you. Here's a big one. Expect to spend at least the same amount of time each week for this online course as you would for an on-campus class. So this equates to about 20 to 25 hours per week. So if you're coming to me and you're struggling, which is often the case in a course like physiology, especially being online, it's almost will be a little more difficult. If you're struggling, I'll first ask you if you're spending 20 hours a week, reading your textbook, going through the My Lab and Mastering practice, dynamic study modules, work through each chapter, and then we'll work on kind of a study plan to help you out. So shoot for spending at least 20 to 25 hours per week. I know that's like a part-time job, but try to even block off, a couple hours in the morning or at night to work on the material in this course. I'll regularly be posting your grades to Canvas. I'll try to get all of your Canvas or your grades posted within a week of when they were due. So let's say, most of your grades are due on a Sunday at midnight. I'll try to get all your grades posted by the following Sunday. And then we have roughly 1,000 points. And I say roughly because sometimes I'll take out a quiz or a lab or add an extra one in, which can, change this by 10 or 12 points. But we have the introductory module activities, 4 lecture exams, 4 lecture quizzes, weekly case study discussion posts, which you can see if you put in that effort are almost worth as much as all of your lecture exams combined. So that's why I really like to focus on writing and research in this class and applying the concepts that you've used in physiology to everyday problems. So that's why I put a lot of point percentages in this class on those weekly case study discussion posts. So I really want you to spend time, researching your initial post and gaining sense of community, even in an online setting with our other classmates. Lab exams, which are will just be all multiple choice. Your lecture exams will be all multiple choice as well. And then lab reports, which will include either doing the simulations through Labster, which is like a video game simulation of a virtual lab, or actually performing creating a lab report using that PhysioX lab activities, which you'll find through our textbook, the My Lab and Mastering software. And then the supplemental instruction are those workshops, which again are forced tutoring sessions I'm putting on you guys to complete throughout the semester. And when the schedule for those are published, I'll let you know. So you'll have 4 lecture exams, 1 for each module. They're worth 100 points each. They might not all have 100 questions, but they're worth 100 points each. Lecture exams will be completed using Proctorio. I offer no makeups or extensions unless it's an emergency medical situation, but you have the due dates for those at least a month ahead of time when I post the module. So you should, and I always leave your lecture exams open for at least 5 days. So not having reliable internet, not being able to use Proctorio is not a valid excuse for completing any lecture or quiz exam. The final lecture exam will be cumulative, meaning it will be based on all chapters covered up until that point throughout the entire course. However, your final lecture exam will be more focused on the chapters in the final module, but it will be cumulative. There are 4 lecture quizzes, which usually are just based on the chapters that we're going through in that PowerPoint. You can see Canvas for quiz content, specific chapters it'll be quizzed on, and quiz dates. Case study discussion posts. Sorry, I did not spell. I have a couple spelling errors here. You will be required each week, and this is a big thing, each week to post a discussion post regarding a case study topic, and then 2 follow-up posts to 2 different classmates. You will receive 10 points for your initial post, which again has to be at least 150 words, not questions, with a citation due by Wednesday at midnight each week. So again, get in your head right now that you're always going to have something due on Wednesday and you'll always have things due on Sunday. And then the 2 reply posts will always be due on Sunday. And those are 30 easy points to get each week if you put in the effort. I promise it's an easy way to get points. Then 2 lab exams. So we have 4 modules. In the first module, I just give you a lab quiz to give you an idea of what a lab exam might look like, just multiple choice questions based on the material in those labs that you've been doing. So your first module, you just have a lab quiz. Your second module, you'll have a lab exam based on all the labs up until that point, which I think is labs 1 to 7. Your third module, you don't have any lab quizzes or exams. You'll just have, the weekly lab reports to do. And then in the fourth module, you'll have a final lab exam, but that final lab exam is just based on the labs up until that point. It will not be cumulative. So the lab reports there, we have a 16-week semester. So that you might not always have a lab report due or a lab simulation activity due, but for the most part, you will have a lab due each week as well. So again, get in your head, you'll have weekly case studies, you'll have weekly labs to do. Every once in a while, there will be a quiz in there or an exam if we're kind of in the middle or the end of a module. Here's information about the supplemental learning, those workshops. They're interactive, instructive-led mini presentations on key topics. You have to complete 3 of them, each worth 10 points each. You can attend the live Zoom session, fill out the handout, and then submit that handout to the email provided on the top of that handout. And then they keep track of those submissions and let me know at the end of the semester. So you never have to tell me if you completed a workshop because I get a list of your names at the end of the semester with who has done them. I'll let you read through basic needs, the Associated Student Body Statement, the LGBTQ statement on your own. So I keep these in our syllabus for resources for you. Academic integrity, cheating will not be tolerated. I check your Proctorio videos, and if students are looking down, I give them a 0. I don't give them a second chance. You get a 0 on that exam and potentially a 0 in the class, and I'll drop you from my course. I'm very particular about this because you guys are entering the healthcare related field. You are going to be responsible for people's lives. So you need to learn this information. And in life and death situations, you're not going to be able to cheat off your notes. So I am doing this in your best interest. So right away off the get-go, do not cheat. Don't try to cheat. If you do, you're only going to be hurting yourself and your future patients that need your help. So cheating will not be tolerated. That also includes plagiarism. So every once in a while, I will check to see if you're plagiarizing your weekly discussion posts. There's so many great websites out there where I can just copy and paste your discussion post into kind of a search engine, and it'll pop up to show me if you've copied and pasted it from somewhere else. So again, anytime I see cheating or plagiarism on any assignment, quiz, or exam, it's just an automatic 0 and a potential drop. And definitely it will be disciplinary action through Long Beach City College. So you just don't want to go down that route with me. I don't offer any second chances with cheating. Laboratory procedures, you will complete the lab simulations with PhySIOX or Labster. The PhySIOX activities are when you get the access code and register for the MyLab and Mastery with the textbook. And the Labster simulations are really fun video game-like simulations where you're in a virtual lab. All your lab reports are only worth 10 points. And again, they will most likely be a weekly lab to complete. Please, if you need any extra time for an exam, now is the time to register through the DSPS offices, and then they'll let me know, and I'll have a list of everyone who needs extra time, and then I can go into each lab exam or each exam or quiz and then change the time for specific students. You can always double check with me and say, hey, did you get my DSPS letter? Just so you know, I have double time on this exam. So you can always double check with me, but make sure you do that as soon as possible so we can make sure you get the extra time you need for exams. Online courses, again, especially an online course, I think some people take online courses thinking it will be easier. I know many of you are in this online course because you need it, because you are working full time, you have a family, I get that. But just know that this does require almost more kind of focused, personal focus on your part because it is an asynchronous class. You kind of have to force yourself to do work each week. So try to set aside time each week, whether it's Saturday morning, Saturday night, Friday night, an hour a day, just to make sure you're putting in the effort needed to get through all of your readings in the textbook, your homework assignments, due dates, and things like that. If you do plan to travel, because that's one benefit of taking an online course is you can travel, just make sure you have reliable internet connection. Not having a computer access to reliable internet is not a valid excuse for missing any assignment, because again, I don't offer any makeups or extensions, especially at the end of the semester. I cannot emphasize that enough. Last course, I had 2 students who forgot to take their lecture exam, and Canvas doesn't let you take it after the end of the course date. I personally wouldn't allow you to take any missed exam anyway, but I physically can't change the end date in Canvas to allow you to complete an assignment or exam after the last day of course. And I usually try to send out reminders when something is due, but again, that is all your responsibility. Okay, so schedule. All weeks begin on a Monday and then on a Sunday evening at midnight, except for the final day of the course, which ends on a Wednesday, June 8th. These are important spring dates. It is your responsibility to confirm these dates. So I'm not going to be constantly reminding you, hey, do you want to drop the course? Hey, do you want to get a refund? That's your responsibility. May 8th is the last day to drop the course with a W. And then after that, you'll receive a letter grade. And then this takes you through the modules, all the activities within each module, and the dates of those modules. So you'll always have reading to do, work through the extra kind of homework, problems and practice in the MyLab and Mastering portion of the textbook when you register through Pearson. Watch the recorded lecture videos on our YouTube channel. In Module 1, you will have a lecture quiz and lab quiz, and see the Canvas for updated due date and content. Completely weekly case discussion posts with, again, a weekly initial post on Wednesday, and then your apply posts by Sunday. And then we only have 3 labs this first module, with a lab quiz also due, which you can find that in Canvas. And these are the lab schedule, lab reports due, and then you can see Canvas for those due dates, with the lecture exam due on Sunday, March 6th, because again, each module takes about 1 month. And again, I'll leave this lecture exam open for you for about 5 days. And then you can see everything's kind of the same through each module with different dates. You'll see a lab exam 1 at the end of module 2 based on labs 1 to 7. And then just a note, module 3, you'll notice module 2 ends on April 3rd. And then module 3 starts on April 11th. And that's because between modules 2 and 3, you technically have a spring break. So I give you that week off for your spring break. And then module 4, you'll have a lab exam 2 based on labs. This should be more like 8 through 14. Sorry about that. So just the lab exam will not be cumulative, but the final lecture exam will be cumulative. So I think that takes us through all the information. Let me take us through back to our, let me take us back through this, and let me just make sure I'm showing you the right Google Chrome screen. So here we have kind of, again, the welcome page, important information, modules. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm looking forward to a great semester with all of you, and I hope you have a great first week of class. And again, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for listening, guys.